Let's Loom knit the mock cable rib stitch, and this is featured in our Dreamy cable blanket, and this was on request by one of my Etsy customers. She really wanted this blanket in this big jumbo yarn, and we're making it on the Zippy loom today. You can make this actually in 4 sizes, but you can make this stitch on any size loom with any yarn, and you're just going to need to know the multiple and the stitch repeat, which I'll go over today. If you want to get a hold of the pattern for the Dreamy cable blanket, you can click down in the video description below. You can get that free on our website blog, or you can download it from our Etsy and Ravelry stores, and you can get it on our website for a little bit cheaper. So today we're going to begin and working on this 6-row repeat. Again, any loom, any yarn weight, but I'm going to show you how to do it in this big jumbo yarn today. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. Be sure and click down below in the video description to get the right and left-handed video tutorial links, as well as the link to the blog for the written instructions for the blanket, which includes the stitch pattern. Now, we do have 4 sizes shown. This is the lap size. It's only 25 inches wide, but we also have a throw size and twin and queen. And that's the queen is the reason why I actually started the pattern. But the twin and queen, you're going to make it in 2 panels, and we will show that in the written instructions. Here in this video, I'm only showing this 6-row repeat. That's it. Now, if you want to cast on 20 stitches as a practice or start this blanket, that's what I would recommend starting to do now. So you're going to grab your loom and your yarn, whatever size that is. You don't have to have everything seen here right now. This will just get you practice on actually making the stitch pattern. You're going to cast on from one end to the other with 20 stitches. I'm going to do a chain cast on. So on the right-handed, I'm starting all the way on the right and I'm working my way left. And on the left hand, I'm doing the opposite. I'm starting on the side. You basically start by working in the direction how you want to be working your main stitches, your cables. So if you want them to lay going to the right, then you would start on the right. Okay, so I hope that helps. So go ahead and cast on your first 20 stitches and pause your video, and I will meet you at this point. See you soon. If you'd like to keep up with your repeat and you're someone who likes to use stitch markers, you could take some rubber bands, probably some thicker ones in this because of the nature of how big these are. But we're going to have all of the purl rows in this row. They'll help indicate to you how the stitch pattern repeats, because we're going to have a grouping of 2 purl stitches, and then we'll have a group of 4, and then 2, and then 4. So every time you see a purl stitch on this row only, if you want to put down something to kind of block those off for you, go ahead and stretch a rubber band over 2 of them at a time. So we're going to work these first 2 stitches in purl, and then we're going to have 4 that will end up being knit stitches, whether they have a cable or not. And then every time we do 4, then you'll have another repeat of 2 stitches purl and then 4 knit. So go ahead and start doing that now. We're going to start by purling. So the stitch markers are totally optional, but if you're doing one of the rather large blankets and you have a hard time keeping up, especially until your pattern starts developing, then go ahead and do that. And by the way, if you see some extra tails back here, these you don't need a tapestry needle for. If you're using the jumbo yarn, you can just weave those in by hand, and that's where I had joined the yarn. You just tie a knot and weave it in. All right, so I'm purling 2 stitches. If you need tutorials on how to purl, please go visit those on our site or on our YouTube channel. So now I'm going to U-wrap knit the knit stitches. Make sure not over tighten. So we're knitting 4 stitches, and then we're purling 2 stitches. And the way I have this set up for the 20 stitches, it's really easy for me to see it because it always starts with 2, and then these 4 down to the corner is always 4. And when we go here, now we're at the 2 again, which is where you could mark your next 2 stitches and purl. We're purling 2. This works much better in my lap. All right, and then these middle 4 stitches are going to be knits. And there's only 3 repeats on here. So what is the pattern repeat, Kristen? Well, it is a multiple of 6 plus 2. And if you have to do the panels together, you'll see why when you see the pattern repeat. Basically, it's a 6 plus 1. You've got to add in an extra purl on one side, and then you do, whoops, got a hair in here, hold on. You've got to sew the blanket together on those purl stitches, and you can actually sew it easier on the back because they're knit. So, but you got to do them kind of opposite. And by the way, this stitch pattern, I'm going to have it as garter stitches on the edges, but you could always do the first and last pegs purled, or you can do the garter, which isn't what I'm going to show you. I just like it for a cleaner blanket edge, and that's how we do it. Okay, so now we've done those 2 purl stitches here, and now we're doing our last 4 knit stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then pause your video if you need to and come back. We're gonna purl the last 2. Okay, and when we meet back up, we're gonna work on row 2. And all of the every other row is going to be the same as we just did. All right, we'll see you in a second. All right, let's begin row 2, and it's going to begin with a knit 2. Again, if you want to do purls on the ends, you can totally do that. I'm just doing a garter stitch, so we're knitting the first 2 stitches. And then these next 4 stitches are where we're working our cable, okay? The next 6 stitches is our repeat. So it's going to be working these 4 stitches and then ending in purl 2. And then that repeats until the end, our last 2 stitches, or well, technically the last 6 stitches here. So let's go ahead and we're going to knit 2 stitches here. So knit 2. All right, and then now we're going to cable these. This is a 1/1 right cross cable. Now, if you want to remember which part of the pattern you're on and you like the stitch markers, this would be the time to do it. We're going to be taking off this stitch here, this 3rd peg. So go ahead and place on a stitch marker or rubber band onto this peg here, okay? And that way, when we come back and we do the next one, this will move down and you'll know that you need to be cabling onto the 2nd stitch. We're going to be working those down this way. So we're going to hold this at the back here, and we're going to let it just kind of sit there. I mean, you can hold it if you need to, if you feel more comfortable, but it's just going to kind of stay. We're going to take our working yarn and come around the peg here on this 4th peg, knit it over, and now pick it up and move it to this empty peg here. Okay, now I'm going to hold this stitch at the back and then pull on the one we just placed and get the slack out, and then go ahead and pull on the working yarn. Then I'm going to move my working yarn forward, and we can place this loop on the peg and then knit it, but I find it's a little too tight. So just go ahead and take your working yarn and go behind the peg, or go behind the stitch, go in between the one you just worked and the one that's just being held here, the stitch, and feed it through. Now, you can do this on any of the size of the yarns. I just find it's easier on this chenille type yarn, or is it boucle? Anyway, it's got this long central strand here in the middle, and I don't want it to break. So I just knit it that way. I just push it through the back of the loop and place it, and then I just pull the slack out. And now I'm going to finish my repeat by purling the next 2 stitches. So that is my multiple of 6, those first 4 stitches, and then my 2 purl stitches. Okay, and now we begin our repeat again. Okay, and if you don't remember which one you did, you can come back and look and go, oh, I'm on the 3rd one. So here we go. We're going to knit 2 stitches, and then we move at the 3rd. So knit 2, take this 3rd stitch up, leave it at the back, then we can knit this other one, make sure and come in front of that loop, knit this one on the 4th peg, pick it up and move it. Okay, you can get that slack out, and then take this yarn, push it in the back of the stitch, and place it on the empty peg, and then purl the next 2 stitches. Okay, so you're going until the last 6 stitches, and those last 6 stitches are going to have that same cable, and then you end in a knit 2 instead of purl 2. Again, you could just end it in a purl 2 if you wish. So we're going to knit these 2 stitches here. 1, 2. This is so much easier on my lap than on a table with a camera. All right, so knit 2, and then we're going to take this stitch off here, the 3rd one, and we're going to knit the 4th stitch. Hope I'm in the frame here. Pick that up with your hook or with your finger. You can pull the slack out here like that. I usually, when I'm in my lap, I'm usually kind of pulling that like that, and then pull the slack. And then now you can place this loop. I'll show you what it looks like placing it. I'm gonna just place it right on this stitch here, or this peg here, and it's tight. Like, you see how tight that is? Ooh, okay. And then now you can knit that stitch, but it's very tight. Ooh, see, and it kind of comes off. So that's why I just go ahead and push it through. If you have a crochet hook and you have a harder time doing it with a smaller yarn, if you have problems with the yarn that's tight like that, you can use a crochet hook and pull it through. So pulling it from the back is the way it actually makes a knit stitch. All right, and then we're going to knit the last 2 stitches to get that garter stitch look. All right, and you've completed row 2. Now you're going to work a row 3, which is the same as you did before. Purl 2, knit 4, purl 2, knit 4, and so on until the end. Pause your video and I'll meet you back up for row 4. See you soon. All right, so we're ready for row 4. If you've got your yarn on this side, then you know you're ready for cables. If it's on the other side, then you need to do an odd row and work your way back here. So I've gone ahead and switched out my stitch marker with a doubled over potholder loop. It's just a lot easier for you guys to see. Not a bad solution, maybe triple it over. So we're going to begin by knitting 2, and then we can go ahead and move our stitch marker down so that we know where we're going to be placing that cable. So go ahead and pick that up, and we're going to move it onto this one. Okay, so that is in our set of 4, that's the 2nd peg there. So we're going to knit the 1st stitch, and then we're going to 1 over 1 RC, 1 over 1 right cross. So we're picking this stitch up here that we're going to cross over. It's going to technically be in front. So then we're going to work this next stitch, placing our yarn here, knitting it, moving it to the empty peg, pull out that slack and place it, tighten it up a little bit, and then we're going to knit this stitch here. So put the yarn in the back of it to push it through and place it. And then on the 4th stitch, we're just simply knitting that stitch. Okay, and then come to this part, and we're going to purl those 2 stitches. So always purl those stitches here. They never change. Okay, so now that you know how to do the row, well, I'll leave you to it. I'm going to repeat this one more time here on this stitch here. So we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to pick this stitch up, hold it in the back, knit the next stitch, pick it up and move it. You can hold on to that loop over there if you're afraid of losing it, tighten it up, and then go ahead and, while you're still holding it, push that yarn through that loop and place it. we go. And then knit the next stitch. And then if you've marked your pegs, you know that these are your purl stitches. And then you're going to perform that little cable maneuver one more time and knit the last 2 stitches. All right, pause your video, consult your pattern if you need the reminder or rewind, and I will see you back at the beginning of this same row. So you're gonna finish this row. You're gonna work a row 5, which is working all the way back to the beginning over here, and we're gonna work row 6 when I see you next. All right, we're on row 6. This is the last row in our repeat. I've gone ahead and knit the first 2 stitches, and now we need to move our stitch marker. So we're gonna lift up that stitch, pick it up, and place it on this first one. Well, I say the first one of this group of 4. It's technically our 3rd stitch over. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to lift the stitch up, which we already had it up, obviously, but we're going to knit this next stitch. All right. And then pick it up and place it, pulling the slack. Go ahead and put the loop through the back and put that on your empty peg. And then now you're going to knit the last 2 stitches in that sequence there. 1, 2, that gets you your 4 stitches. And then now we're going to purl 2 stitches. Okay. All right, so now you're going to cable right across the 1/1 here. So we're taking 1 off. We're going to knit this next stitch, pick it up and move it over, pull the slack. This thicker yarn, I know, is a little hard to see. We're going to put the yarn through the back of that loop and place it. And pull the slack and then knit the next 2 stitches. All right, and then now we're going to purl the rest in that sequence. So purl 2, and then I'll just finish this out with you. All right, so this one you're going to twist, do that right cross. So you're going to pick it up, knit the next stitch, place it on the empty, and then put that yarn through the back of the loop, place it. It doesn't twist the loop or anything. I'm telling you, it is still that V-shaped stitch. And then you're just going to knit to the end. That's what I like about doing the garter stitch, is because I just knit to the end. I don't have to do any more purl stitches when I hit that last repeat. So if you have more repeats in yours, if you cast it on more, then just continue with that pattern repeat. So I'm at the point here where I actually need to bind off. So I'm going to suggest to you that you do a basic bind off. It's just a standard bind off, and you're going to do it in pattern, where you work these 2 stitches as if you were going to do it in your normal row. So when we work back this way, these are going to be purls here, and these next 4 are going to be knits, and so on. So just your normal basic bind off is all you need to do. And that's it for this stitch pattern. So that's all you do, is you just keep repeating those 6 row repeats. Every time it's going to zigzag over this way. So the beginning part is right here till here, and then there's that next repeat, and then this is what it looks like when I bound off in pattern. So it just completes that. You're just binding off on one of those odd rows. I hope you enjoyed this stitch pattern today here at GoodKnit Kisses. Please give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want more content like that, and click down below and give us a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.